In this video, we're going to test out Battlefield 6 beta on the recommended GPU, which is the RTX 3060 Ti. Alright, you don't need a really powerful processor, but we're going to be pairing it up with the 9800X3D. Because why not? Alright, so this is the system specs. You can see the 3060 Ti specs. It's the SOTAC version of the card, SOTAC Twin Edge 3060 Ti. And then it's paired up with the 9800X3D running at base speeds, which is 4.7 gigahertz. And 64 GB of DDR5 memory running at 6000 megahertz. And that's it. Let's get into the benchmark and see how things go. Alright, we're going to be only testing out 1080p settings. Okay, so DLSS, TAA, and all the good stuff on different presets. Okay, so starting it off on DLAA Ultra, native Ultra settings. Pretty good, getting a 60 plus FPS right off the bat on maxed out settings. So the recommended GPU for the game seems to be pretty accurate because we can get more than 60 FPS. And we're looking at almost 8 GB of video memory usage and 200 watts of power, close to 200 watts of power. Which is expected because this GPU is a little power hungry compared to the new 50 series. So yeah, and this game is like CPU intensive on 1080p especially because you can see the 9800X3D is at 43% usage. And yeah, it's a pretty good experience. Now let's move on to DLSS quality. And let's see how much we can get for that. So from 60 we are getting close to 75. And it's still like dropping down a little bit. And the CPU usage is still around 45 to... It's a little bit higher than DLAA, that's for sure. We're getting better FPS from 70. Mostly staying above 70 instead of just 60. So that's a good sign. That means the DLSS is actually working. And yeah, pretty good experience on DLSS quality settings. And now let's go down to DLSS performance. I know this is a Battlefield game, it's a first person shooter, so people really want to get at least 100 FPS to be a little bit competitive, you know, getting close to that 120 Hertz experience, but it still stays about the same as DLSS quality. So I don't know, maybe they will patch this up when the real game comes out. I don't think the DLSS performance mode is working like that well. Maybe it's because it's CPU limited, even though it says it's only using 48%, and the 3060 Ti is absolutely like maxed out. I don't know, maybe it's not that well optimized for now, the DLSS performance. But yeah, not a really good experience on DLSS performance. Now let's try on just high DLAA settings. So DLAA high will get us to 70 to 75 FPS. It is not bad. Pretty much the same as DLSS quality ultra settings. So I mean it's good, but you know we still need more FPS. If you want to hit those quick sniper shots, quick scopes, you know, you need more FPS than this to be able to make it snappy. So DLSS high quality, 70 something FPS, but in the other map, oh my god, what the hell is going on over here? That is one of the biggest bugs I've ever seen in this game. I just slid across the map somehow while I was in the vehicle. I don't know, but yeah, and this map is better because it's not surrounded by a lot of buildings, so it depends on what map you are in. So this is the same settings, DLAA high. Now let's try TAA high. Alright, so TAA high will definitely boost your FPS, but the visual quality, the sharpness of the image, it's heavily degraded and it's pretty noticeable. Just like here, you look at the rocks are pretty blurry, even right in front of you because of the edge details. You know, TAA is not that great when it comes to anti-aliasing. That's why DLAA is way better. And you can see it's way more sharper right away. But you lose about 20 FPS by turning on DLAA instead of TAA. So for the 3060 Ti, if you want more FPS, it's better to just stick with TAA instead on any of these graphics presets because it will give you more FPS. You're just sacrificing some sharpness for the video, I mean for the image. Now let's try going DLSS balanced on high settings. So that gives us TAA FPS. Wow, that's crazy. So, and it looks pretty much like, it still looks better than TAA. and you can get more FPS. So that's I'd say like this is the best way to play the game. And you're still utilizing 96, like almost maxing out the GPU. So this is still GPU intensive. Even though the 9800X3D is almost 50% usage, yeah, this is still a GPU intensive scenario right here. So yeah, I'd say just play the game like this. This will be the best visually pleasing and also giving you the best performance out of the 3060 Ti. Yeah guys, so now let's move on to medium DLAA. So medium DLAA gives you 90 FPS, almost 90 FPS. And again, not that great, but it's better. So you get about 20 FPS increment from ultra DLAA. So going down to medium will give you additional 20 FPS from ultra. It's not that great, but it's better. 90 FPS, still pretty GPU heavy, as you can see. And the 9800X3D is still around the same 47 to 48% usage. Yeah, I don't know why these Battlefield games are like always CPU heavy. Now let's try moving on to low settings. So on low settings we are finally able to get 116, 150 FPS without any upscaling, and that's pretty cool. That is in fact pretty cool. We are even hitting 120 FPS in some areas, but it's in this map though. You gotta keep that in mind. In the other maps it might vary, but in this map, since it's like a really open area with few buildings, it's pretty good. Now let's try DLSS Ultra Performance. Like, why not? This is the lowest you can go on any system. So this is basically 360p upscaled to 1080p. Now we are getting 170 FPS, and that's crazy. And this will depend on your CPU, because I tested out the 5060 on the 9700K and it was terrible. The CPU was like extremely limited, but with the 9800X3D you can see the CPU is still just 50% usage and still utilizing most of the GPU. GPU is still on 94%. See, so this CPU can bring out the best in most GPUs. That's why it's the king of the CPUs for gaming. 160 plus FPS, that's crazy. And that seems to be it for the benchmark on 1080p with the 3060 Ti. So the recommended GPU is actually the recommended, because you can play the game on 60 plus FPS even on ultra settings without any upscaling. So yeah, just make sure you have a decent CPU and you can just bring out FPS like this. This is crazy. 160 FPS in Battlefield, yeah, it's a really playable refresh rate. So yeah guys, let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And you guys can watch the different other GPU benchmarks that I did on the 5080 and the 5060 in my channel. So subscribe for more benchmarks. I'll be posting more Battlefield 6 benchmark pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. I hope you guys are having a great time wherever you are. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.